Get ready for 2 hours of hard-hitting football talk, straight from their jocks about the jocks. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know Show. I am Jim McPhee, and right there's Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, know-it-alls? Welcome back for another football edition of, you guessed it, Football on the Know Show. Hey, listen.
It's a football
this is your
edition of
first
Football on the
time?
Know Show. Oh, my gosh, Joe.
If this is your first time, or if it's your 500th time watching us, we really do appreciate you.
We do.
If
we do.
it is, in fact, you're new to the show and you like to see great content, we love to talk football talk. We love to interact with you guys out there. So if you drop in the comment section down below right now, we are live. We're going to react to you guys, give you a shout out, all that good stuff. If you could find it in your heart to do so, could you please head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button for us, hit the thumbs up while you're there. It definitely helps the channel out to get more recognized, more noticed. And yeah, don't forget to share it as well.
All right, first comment of the night. Rise up, Dirty Birds in the house.
Oh, yo, rise up. I have to make an apology right here, right now, because you asked a question the last time we were on, and you asked about Bijan Robinson.
Bijan.
Is he a top 5 running back? I did say that I would have to do more research, but I initially said no off the cuff. I am wrong. I did more research. I looked back at what he was able to do in his first couple of years, and without a shadow of a doubt, rise up, he is easily top 5. You could even make the argument top 3.
All right, there you go.
So I had to get that off my chest.
Yo, you're
Now that
welcome. Yeah, rise up. Let me tell you, that is an epic moment right there. Because to get Joe to apologize and like change his mind on some stuff, it's crazy. So that's
no, I
kudos to
did
you, my
say I
friend.
had to do research.
You did.
I did say I had to do research.
All right. So before we get into it, Joe, there's a lot of stuff going down, news around camps and everything. So why don't we go through and get to the quick slants, Joe? Let's hit a quick slant here. What's up? Let's go. Let's go.
We need a sound effect for that.
We do. I need how do I steal one from like
steal it from anybody? Who cares?
Some dead quick slants.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if I could use that one, or do I have to do
hey,
CSI Miami?
Listen, it's under 10 seconds.
Horatio Kane? Yeah.
No.
I need Horatio
anyway,
Kane glasses.
So
Go ahead.
In the news today, former tight end Shannon Sharpe will not be returning to ESPN sets after settling his lawsuit recently. Yeah, I mean, who wants this guy on their football show talk anything anyway? Like, the guy just blabbers around and thinks he knows everything, and will never admit that he's wrong. So
that is one big pile of shit.
Bye, Shannon. Bills rookie corner Maxwell Hairston to miss time with an LCL sprain. He's going to miss a big chunk of training camp. However, it sounds like, by all accounts, he's going to be ready for the start of the season. So not majorly concerning there. The Seattle Seahawks are signing GM shocker John Schneider to a 4-year extension through the 2030 NFL draft, everyone. One of the longest tenured GMs and most respected throughout the league for sure. Guy's done a terrific job in Seattle, getting talent, whether it be free agency or mostly through the draft. So yeah, not a surprise there. And the Baltimore Ravens' tight end Isaiah Likely reportedly has a foot fracture. Week 1 return is a possibility, but again, they're literally uncertain on just when his return will be. Sounds like he might miss week 1, maybe possibly week 2. We'll have to monitor that as we go. Dolphins corner Kader Kohou suffers a season-ending knee injury. Big hit to the defense. This is a guy that they envision as being a starter for them this year. And unfortunately, man down. They're going to have to try to figure that out after dealing Ramsey away. Zach Moss. Everybody remembers Zach Moss, the running back, right?
Bitch! Run!
He was released by the Cincinnati Bengals today. And kudos to us. We kind of called it. We had a segment where we were basically trying to put our minds together on who we thought on each team would be the most surprising or maybe even the most predictable cuts, and Zach Moss was one of our guys. Sorry, Zach. So far, we're batting 1,000 right now. Washington Commanders signed a veteran offensive tackle, Lucas Niang, and is a guy who was already with Washington at one point, so he's going to be returning mostly for depth. You're going to see that through training camp as we go. Guys are going to get injured or whatnot. They need these guys to kind of finish it out. And then lastly, but not leastly, Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw returns to the team drills for the first time since tearing his ACL and MCL during a Week 8 game against the
That's how you take down a motherfucker. That's right.
So the Vikings offensive line is getting healthier. Is getting more injured.
Yes, that's right.
And there you have it.
All right, yeah, there you go. The quick slants, Joe. I like it. Here, a lot of stuff going on. It's moving and shaking. Camp's just getting underway, so we're gonna learn more as that comes along, and we get into some preseason. Hey, the Hall of Fame game's gonna be going down in just a day.
Thursday.
So,
Thursday night.
Man. So how about that? So that's exciting. I can't wait to watch it. Can't get enough. Can't get enough more football.
Yeah, Rise Up has y'all deserve way more subs than 112. You're damn right.
Get down on your knees and tell me you love me.
Oh,
we need
thank
more
you. Thank you.
Come on, let's go.
I know, right? I know. I totally agree with you. Not biased at all. Not biased.
We got another know-it-all chiming in from off of Facebook. Jonathan Santos. He says Skull, and if you don't know,
he starts to come and then he pulls out.
That's what they say. So now you know.
Yeah, so now you know. So there you go. All right, so we've gone the rundown with everybody. So a pleasure having everybody here with us tonight. We're going to be talking about the biggest questions for the AFC and the NFC South. Joe, let's kick it right off. Sorry, rise up, but we're going to go right into AFC first, then we'll go right into your NFC. So stick around.
Listen, that's how we keep Rise Up. For the show.
Right. You just
we got to keep them
with the show.
Waiting in suspense.
All right. So yeah, definitely. Texans fans, where are you at here? Let's hear you in the chat too as well. So Texans, Joe, biggest question for me, basically, for the Texans is, did they do enough here in the offseason and the draft to help solidify that offensive line and protect CJ Stroud? Because in 2024, he was pressured a total of 274 times, which led the league. Yeah. And that means that he faced pressure of 39% of his dropbacks, bro. And still, so for him to be able to get, 20 something touchdowns to 12 interceptions, and still make the playoffs still and do well, make it, and get, 10-7 record, still that could be partially why he had a down year. So hopefully I'm wondering if they did enough, it is going to be better in this next season for them.
I mean, I think they did. That was the plan of attack. And unfortunately, last year for him, it was because his offensive linemen were dropping like flies due to injury. Now you look at it in one offseason through it, they bring in a guy, Cam Robinson, former starter for the Minnesota Vikings at left tackle, put him in there. They also drafted Ariante Ursary, also a guy who's competing for that tackle job. And then, not to mention, they bring in another free agent, Laken Tomlinson, to play left guard for them. So they've made their moves. They've solidified, especially that left side. The right side, Titus Howard is healthy, back again. They had their youngster, Blake Fisher, who now is going to take over that right tackle job. So it's like they've made 2 years ago, they were starting to make moves just in preparation for now. You got Blake Fisher now at right tackle. And then with Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson now going to take over the left side. So they've made some moves to reaffirm that front. And I think they did enough. And honestly, this is a team that was heavily beaten and battered last season with injuries. So I know it's not an excuse. You still got to come out every week and prove yourself and win. But it definitely hurt them.
All right. So what do you got for the biggest questions here for them?
My biggest question for them is, and this is by all accounts, their roster on paper from head to toe is very solid. They have a young group of defensive players that are playing at a high level when they are healthy. And the same thing could be said offensively. But my biggest question is, what's going to happen if Joe Mixon misses extended time? Can Nick Chubb who, mind you, they just re-signed, can he fill that starting role? And this has got to be some concern right now. Is like Mixon's supposed to come back and be healthy enough, but it sounds out, it sounds like by all accounts that Mixon is in jeopardy of missing week 1, possibly more. You know what I mean? You never know with these type of ankle injuries where he might have a setback. Now he's out even longer. But can Nick Chubb kind of have a resurgence with the Houston Texans and be that featured guy once again? And honestly, this is a guy who's overcome so much in terms of injury. And for him to even still be playing is kind of immaculate. I don't envision Chubb at this stage in his career as being that guy anymore, about being the guy who can take the every down hit and be the featured guy and be that kind of playmaker like he was in Cleveland. I kind of envision Nick Chubb as being a great rotational piece. So it's like, for me anyways, I don't think they can really get by with just Nick Chubb. They're going to have to hope that Mixon does come back sooner rather than later. Otherwise, that running game, we talk about the Dallas Cowboys and how they're still lacking that, and they try to fill it with new free agents. But if they're without Joe Mixon, I think that critically hurts this running game of their offense.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, we've seen the difference that Joe Mixon makes out there on the field. So it would be great to have him on there to help get this offense going. But I'm excited for Nick Chubb too to be there. I mean, I think that was a great pickup because, yes, after an injury like he had too, you never know what you're going to get here too.
Right.
But he was a key piece to that success that, when they did have success here for the Cleveland Browns here too. And what a good overall player too, person too, on top of it and stuff too. I'd hate for him to go out after that injury, just not be the same guy he was. So I'm hoping that he can bounce back and contribute. And he's on a good team here that I think if they all work together here and that offensive line can protect and they can improve in the red zone too. I think they're ranked 26 in the red zone. So they got to get better numbers there. And I think that running game under those two running backs, if they both are completely healthy, will help contribute to that. So
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's great there too for them. All right, so let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts. For the Colts, this is probably obvious question here, but for me, who's the starting quarterback and how will they perform? I mean, it's cool now that we got Richardson back in the fold, coming back from the injury and working out in camp too, because it looked like if he went down, that was going to be just Daniel Jones, and then we'll see what happens and ride it out. So now potentially we could have, a quarterback competition here. And, Anthony Richardson, if we remember down in 2023, his first round pick, and he's struggled, since he's been in the league a little bit after getting benched last season, kind of came back in and was a changed man, kind of played better here too. But again, injuries plague his career right now. Daniel Jones, he's up and down too. Also, that's why he's no longer with the Giants, and injuries there too as well, especially to his neck. So, these guys are both injury prone, have something to prove here still. Will the change of scenery work out for Daniel Jones, or will Richardson again step up and prove his worth as a number one pick?
Yeah, and I think this is the biggest question easily. And for me, it's not about who's going to start and how well they'll play. It's which guy's going to take it by the reins and run with it. Because right now it's a seesaw battle. However, it's in the heavily favored to Daniel Jones right now. It's Daniel Jones's job to lose at this point. With Richardson going down with that injury, it's given ample time for Daniel Jones to not only just learn the offensive scheme, but also get more acclimated with the receivers that he has at his disposal. So he's got the head start right now. And honestly, it's going to be tough for Anthony Richardson to kind of rip that back and take it over, because Daniel Jones is not a horrendous quarterback. Like, we've seen him make some great plays before with the Giants. And obviously, yeah, you've seen the other side of him too, where he's made some pretty, disappointing decisions as a quarterback. But I think if he can limit mistakes in Indianapolis, that he might actually end up being the starter in week 1. But how much of this is going to come into politics is going to be the other part. Is Richardson very high first round pick? Have you given this guy enough chances, even with all of his injuries, has he proven to the front office, the owner, and the coaching staff, is he really not the guy of the future? Have they made that decision to where they're like, maybe they might be more, you know, you know, e- they might be more, um, it might be more of a have a better decision ahead of them to say, hey, you know what, we might be more, reluctant to give it to Richardson, but instead, Daniel Jones playing at a decent level enough at quarterback, we should just rock with him because the bottom line is wins. If he gives you a better chance of winning than Richardson, then you go with what works. So it's going to be an interesting seesaw battle back and forth for sure. But right now, I think Daniel Jones is in the lead, and Richardson has got some making up to do.
Yeah. Right now, we'll see though. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens. And again, being a Giants fan, I'm excited for a new change of pace here. The different quarterbacks that they've added. We'll see what happens moving forward. But Daniel Jones with the Colts, again, I would be ecstatic if he could perform well there and do well there, because I don't think overall he's a bad guy, and that he is. I think he does have potential to be a starter and be a pretty good quarterback here. So I would be rooting for him too as well.
And
All right, what do you got?
that's commendable about you, Jim,
No
because
problem.
unlike
That's a
most Giants fans would say, "The
rotten
hell with
hell
him. I hope
ass.
he sucks." So
Yeah.
just saying. Rise Up's got something to say. He said, "I'd watch anyway, even if y'all did NFC first."
Oh,
So
thank you.
we
Well, thank you
appreciate
very
you, bro.
much.
And
Yep.
then
Yep. Yep.
our other know-it-all said John. He chimed in and said, "When's Richardson supposed to be back?" He actually is back right now.
hmm
Like he got
hmm
cleared from his injury. He's back with the team. He is practicing. Obviously, they're going to take it easy with him in the beginning, just to make sure that the injury is fully healed. But you know, so he's back in the running. He's back in the race here. So we'll see what happens after that.
hmm Yeah, definitely, Joe. So we'll see. I mean, that's something to watch throughout the season. All right, next here, as we're covering the AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars. My question is, can Trevor Lawrence take his next step here? I mean, we've been asking for this guy to
No,
be, he's the chosen one, the golden hair and everything, and he hasn't taken this franchise any farther than where they've been, which is at the last, what they did best, that one season went to the
right.
playoffs. Since then, nothing. Crickets. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
has had a few injuries here and there, but they've tried to get him weapons. They've tried to do some other things here. Now he's entering his fifth season, under his third coach too, and Liam Cohen. And he's shown flashes, but again, inconsistent. And it's he got paid that contract too, so we're looking for a breakout year here, if anything. So if not, it looks like it's a flat out bust for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, what's interesting, for me is all the crazes around Travis Hunter right now in Jacksonville's training camp, and I understand it. I get it. Your first overall pick, a lot of expectation from him. Like he fully expected himself to play both sides of the ball, coming right into the NFL and just playing the whole game. I think that's very unrealistic. I'm not saying that because I don't think he has the conditioning, because he's definitely proven it in college, because he even did special teams on top of it all. But what's interesting is that on the depth chart so far, right now to this day, they only have him as a wide receiver. They have him as a slot wide receiver, but he is practicing both ways currently. And I
hmm
wonder, because we've also heard it out of Jacksonville that they feel confident enough in him that he's going to play both sides. And if reverse back to when we were talking about him during the draft, we talked about how immensely how mentally draining it is for any athlete to learn one playbook, one side. So if you're an offensive player, that offensive playbook is like, Bible thick, and it's very, um, very difficult sometimes to kind of like fully understand it, especially as a rookie coming in. And then this guy's going to be learning both. This guy's going to have to learn both books, basically, offense and defense, and he's not going to miss a beat. That's where I think he's going to struggle. Is not his talent, not his, conditioning, like I said, but I think it's going to be more of like a mental battle for him to be able to play not one, but both sides of the ball and at an extremely high level. I think if this guy just focused on one side, he could be such an amazing player on that side of the ball that we wouldn't even be talking about him playing both ways. We'd just be enamored by just how good he is. But I think this is going to be an uphill battle for him as we approach week 1, as we get to the middle of the season, and just see, like, can he really handle all that? Because one, it's never been done before,
Mhm.
and two, even though this guy is smarter than attack, this guy has a 4.0 GPA. It's not like he is lacking in the knowledge department, but to remember all those plays and all the audibles in the plays and all of that stuff, it's going to be almost too much. So I don't know if this is a smart decision by Jacksonville, kind of like playing along with Travis Hunter and saying, "Hey, no, we're going to do what you want to do. We're like you're going to play both sides." Because here's the thing, it's also a chemistry thing, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Is you get on an offense, right? You want to get into the rhythm as a receiver. You want to run all the routes, and you get in sync with your quarterback. And the same thing can be said as a corner on defense. You want to be on the same page with the secondary. Everybody knows their assignments. It's going to be really hard to do that both ways.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. I mean, and again, they're looking for that answer again. When we look at Jacksonville, they're always looking for that one piece. Oh, this is going to be the answer. This could be the answer. They thought it was Trevor Lawrence before. And now, again, like you said, the hype is big here. Travis Hunter, they go and do that trade to get there, to get this. And they feel like this is going to be the answer now, too. And you might be asking too much here out of all of this. So it's just hope that he can perform well in any of those positions, whatever he even sticks to or whatnot. And that they can just get out of the basement of this division to where we've talked about it multiple times. It's basically the Houston Texans division to lose. After that, I mean, it's a wash. It could be anybody, at the bottom,
Talk about hype. Rise Up's got something to say. He says he's calling it right now. This year, the Falcons will win the NFC South. You heard it here first.
Yeah, not biased. Not biased at all. Nope. Michael Penix Jr. in his potential, his first full year is going to lead them to the championship.
I like
the division title, right? Though the division title, right?
Excellent.
Oh man. So, all right. So here we go, covering the AFC South. All right. Finally wrapping it up with who else is left? The Titans. That's right. Forget about the Titans. I can't remember the Titans, Joe. Stupid. Now that was stupid. Yeah, that was dumb.
Like it.
Okay. But
he apologized.
He goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry." But for me, again, it's got to be for the Titans. What are realistic expectations for this team and for Cam Ward? I mean, I know some Madden ratings came out. People are already upset that he's only a 72 or whatever this for a number 1 overall pick and all this. But the team is just bad. I mean, the defense is all right here. I get that too, but offensive line needs help too on top of it, on which they've addressed things like that too to do it. So I see that. And, there was lack of weapons too as well for this team, and we saw that too with the fact that Treylon Burks gets cut, and released here. So he's been a big bust for them. So what's the real expectations for this team? I don't really see them going far for some reason. Some people in media have them taking the division somehow.
No way.
Some serious stuff. I think it's clickbait. I think it's, again, just get people upset to say something, because you can't seriously think that these guys are going from worst to first or something, man. No, if you are, I want whatever the doctor prescribed you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
That's the one for me.
Yeah. My biggest question is, they need, I don't even know if it's really not a question, but it's like, what are they going to do at wide receiver? I guess would be the question part of it. I'm just saying, you look at the roster right now, and it's like you got Calvin Ridley and the rest of them, in my opinion. You got Van Jefferson, who's a journeyman wide receiver who hasn't really been able to resurge his, his prime days. He's a veteran. He's older. Like he's done. Like he's done in terms of playing at a high level. Tyler Lockett, again, another guy who's aging, older. This is kind of like his last hurrah with Tennessee now, leaving Seattle. And don't get me wrong, I still think Lockett can can give a little bit more than what Van Jefferson can give. But again, what happens if either one of these aging receivers get hurt? What if they both happen to get hurt? Now you're looking at guys beyond that, and that's rookies. That's first-year players. Xavier Restrepo, Shamir DK, and what's the other guy? Alec Aya Minor. Those guys, their first year, they might be thrusted into the starting lineup because if they don't win the job outright, they're going to be waiting in the wings. And if one of these guys goes down, are these guys going to be ready to go, ready to roll? Because it's a rarity that you get any kind of a rookie, especially like at a wide receiver position or something of that nature, and then become a immediate impact and they be able to take the league by storm. You just don't see that too often. So again, I think they need more veteran leadership. I think they need better veteran wide receivers to come in to not only just take over the starting, spots, but also to kind of put these rookies under their wings and teach them all the ways of playing wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Joe. I mean, it's just that's why I kind of just encapsulated the whole thing and just kind of won because there's a few different things here again too. They got Tony Pollard here at running back and stuff, and he hasn't been really
good.
producing, doing anything either.
Spears, like they're good.
But, they're good. Really I get that. But again, obviously, this team's going to be building, and basically, we'll just see what happens with what they got. You know what I mean? See what Brian Callahan can do with this team, and see what we can get out here. Basically, what their ceiling is. And with like expectations. Now that Cam Ward's definitely got the with Will Levis being injured.
Well, if you listen to Cam Ward, he said at his press conference for the Tennessee Titans, how would you describe their offense? And he said, we're mid. That's exactly what he said. So it's like there's some pros, there's some cons, and I think mostly the cons aren't the offensive line. I think they've done a fairly decent job at shoring up that front. And they have the running backs to run the football and pass it to them. But the real problem is playmaking ability on the outsides.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we've got some new comments in the house with us here, Joe.
Yep. Go ahead, bring them up.
All right, here we got Dan. Dan's in the house. It says, what would you both do if Daniel Jones turns out to be the best quarterback in that division?
It won't happen. So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, that's What would I do if all of a sudden I was abducted by aliens and they fed me alien ice cream? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, honestly, like if it ever happened, right? We'll play along. If it ever happened and he had this phenomenal year this year, what would I do? Commend him for waking up in the NFL and actually playing way better than what he has with New York. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Right. Well, I think then maybe, in media, they're going to grab a hold of it. They're going to start changing the dial and pointing the fingers. They're like, all right, well, it's Dable didn't do anything right, or so whoever his prior coaches were. Oh, it didn't get the best out of him, but here he is with Steichen. And I know, right? Oh my God, don't make me laugh there. But that's what you did. So that's what they're gonna do. They're saying, hey, these guys weren't able to get it. Maybe he's found the right sauce right here. What I'm saying, the mix to get it going. So, but I don't see that happening. Like I said, I'm rooting for him, Dan. I know, even though you're a hater, he's drinking the haterade over there in Bill's Mafia country. Oh boy. So all right, here we go. Rise up. He says, biggest question for my Falcons is if the pass rush will be better.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they've struggled with that aspect for quite, the last 5 to 10 years. Like it's been a very, very long time since the Falcons have had a great pass rush. And even when they take swings during the draft, they seem to continuously miss. And this year might be the exception. They might have actually done the right thing here in this draft. Drafting Jalen Walker. He is labeled as a linebacker. He can play linebacker, but man, this dude is so gifted. He can do everything at a high level. He can cover. He can make the tackles. He can stop the run. He can also pass rush. And that's one of the reasons why they, in fact, drafted Jalen Walker. So you pair him up with another guy who they brought in free agency who isn't a huge name, but Morgan Fox from the Rams, or from the Chargers, I should say, former Ram. But he is a very underrated player, and he's a do-it-all type of player. So I definitely think they've made a couple of moves that are really going to help this Falcons defense get back into the pass rushing game, if you will. And also, do not forget about James Pierce Jr., who they ended up stealing him in the bottom of the first round. They'd had to trade back in to the bottom of the first round, and they get yet another pass rusher, a guy who's going to be screaming off the edge. And yes, he is raw, but he already understands, hand placement. He understands a wide variety of pass rush moves. So it's like not that part of his game you have to teach. It's getting him in not football shape, but like NFL level shape. You know what I mean? And teaching him the defense in and out. So it's just going to be basically playbook that he's going to have to learn and let his talents, shine through. That's bottom line. So to answer to your question, I do believe that they have gotten much better in the pass rush game. And yeah, they are rookies, but they are going to play. They're going to make an immediate impact now. And it's just at what level, right? Like, are they going to just be kind of decent all year? Most likely that's how it's going to be. But or does the switch get flipped for one of them or both of them at the same time, and they are just wreaking havoc almost every other play? So it's going to be fun to watch those two as they develop and grow in training camp, and then see what they can do week 1.
Yeah, I mean, he basically that's my question for the Falcons too as well. Pass rush, defense, they just need to improve altogether. They did. That's okay. I'll let the Falcons fan, the people speak. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely. But the thing is too, is you always want to listen to fans to see what they say, even too. Even, one thing, they might be biased, it might be crazy, might be Cowboys fans, which are downright just delirious. And somehow they might have got away to a computer when they got out of the mental institution. But you hear them because they know their team the best, most likely. You know what I mean? So you hear their opinions of what they got to say. And I agree. I'm looking at their defense. It needs to improve, especially if you're going to try and get this offense going to where the offense, despite even woes of what Kirk Cousins was going through, still wasn't absolutely terrible. They just kind of played their way out of games at times. Still were able to put up some points here and there. Just turnovers killed them, and you can't lose the turnover game and come out of games with wins a lot of times. So you're hoping that Michael Penix Jr. is going to again kind of learn from what he saw a little bit last year and kind of bounce back and have a better season here and be that quarterback you were hoping that when you go and draft him after having Kirk Cousins here and signing him to a deal, and now he's sitting it back up. So you hope the plan's going to work, or else you look kind of stupid there too on top of it. But again, for me, it starts with defense, and then, you're going to iron things out with the offense.
Yeah, listen, if anybody's chiming in, they're new to the show, whatever, we're talking about the AFC South and currently the NFC South. We want to hear from you guys. What are your biggest questions for the AFC South right now? And furthermore, help our channel grow. Hit that subscribe button for us. Go over and click that little icon for the thumbs up. That does help us get more notarized, more noticed throughout the YouTube universe. And don't forget to share it as well. So currently for the Atlanta Falcons, my biggest question is, you mentioned him, Michael Penix. I loved Michael Penix coming out of the draft. I thought he was definitely one of the better quarterbacks to kind of put your eggs in a basket and say, hey, we're going to rock with this guy for the future. I really do like his game. I think he is definitely ready for the challenge of the NFL. But he is the biggest question. We don't know how good this guy is going to be yet. And yeah, we might have seen glimpses of it late last year, but this season is going to be predicated on him. I don't have a question about the defense. They are really solid across the secondary. Now that they got some pass rushers that are going to play up front, like they got a good linebacking core. Offensively, solid offensive line play. They got weapons around them. So really, there's like nowhere else for me to go anyways, is but quarterback, a guy who's been unproven so far. So I'm very curious to see how well Michael Penix can handle the pressure because there's limited film on him, and that could actually play into his favor, where defensive coordinators just don't have enough game film to kind of maybe orchestrate a defensive game plan just yet on him, and he might be able to surprise some people that way. So, um, it is gonna be if Michael Penix can take yet another step this year as a quarterback in the NFL and surprise some people, we might be talking about the Falcons in the same light that Rise Up is. So, that to me is the biggest question.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. Again, thanks everybody out there in the chat, lighting it up. We
you.
appreciate you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
out there. Dan being
Love it.
himself here. The Falcons are in the CFL, correct? He's got to be that guy. It's great though. We love it. You gotta love the heels, right, Joe? Too. The heels out there are always good. All right. So next, let's talk about the Panthers here. Panthers. Last year, we talk about Bryce Young and he might have not been the guy, and he's going through some growing pains. They didn't get a lot of great weapons for him though, on top of it too. But for me, you got to help again. You traded you don't have Brian Burns anymore and stuff like that last year, which was your only shining star here in that defense. And last year they were absolutely putrid, historically bad. They were just 32nd in the league, just terrible altogether. And they need to focus on the defense here. I know they've made a lot of moves here and grabbed guys and put guys in here, so we're hoping that's going to help them get better because they can't get any worse than what they were. And they've made some coaching adjustments too on top of it. But you just hope that with the additions that they made, coaching adjustments, and that will lead to some improvement, especially against the run, because at the run, even they're terrible again. And often, and the defensive line was just weak in the secondary too, as well too. So overall, on all phases, bad. But they made some moves. They brought some free agents in. They drafted. So again, I think the biggest question for the Panthers is, can that defense here improve? That would only help. Again, a young quarterback and Bryce Young help get the offense together here.
So what I'll say about the defense last year is we talk about injuries again, like to key players, not just guys that are like, oh, they could get by without him. Like we're talking about Derek Brown missing the season, the guy who's the cornerstone piece of the D tackle position, and they were missing like that threat, like Brian Burns, like you mentioned, like they traded him, so it's like two key players up front. That's definitely going to change and alter just how well you can play defense. And everybody else was dropping like flies in the secondary. So I'm just saying that with everybody coming back, everybody healthy, and with some of the additions that they've made, not all of them, because not all of them I'm crazy about.
Yeah.
Patrick Jones II, like, I'm sorry, left outside linebacker. I'm not expecting too much from him. Christian, Roseboom, who's going to play right inside linebacker. We'll have to wait and see if these guys step up and play at a high level. But they did make some other additions that are going to help, like bringing in the 3-4 DN, because they've literally kind of shifted this defense in terms of mentality and what they're looking for. Treshawn Wharton from the Kansas City Chiefs, who very tall, beefy, long limb type of a defensive end, is going to help, try to clog up those running lanes. So, and also don't forget Trayvon Merrick, another guy who they added in free agency. They bring in who's going to immediately start, and they're hoping that is going to drastically, improve the back end of that defense. So they've made some moves there and everything, but like for me, the biggest question is still defense. Is they made some moves, but I just don't think they made the right moves or enough of them. Like you even look at like some of the draft picks that they taken, Prince Emmanuel. He came in as a third round pick. He's still penciled as a backup. Now that could change. You're hoping that would change as a Panther fan, because he's coming in to be a pass rusher. And if he can't crack the lineup right now, then maybe there's a lot more, development, along with guys like Nick Scorton, who was also seen as another kind of pass rushing specialist. You're hoping that these guys can like catch up a lot sooner than later in terms of learning the playbook and executing and utilizing their talents. So again, it goes along with what you were saying, Jim, but, like, I still have concerns overall as the defense, not because of personnel,
Hmm.
but because that there was some holes, and in my mind, I don't think they filled those holes with bigger upgrades or, higher talented players that I think they should have. So, that to me is still a question. Offensively, I think they're getting to that spot where yes, you got trust in Bryce Young now. He's shown that he can be a better quarterback at this level, and you're now surrounding him with talented targets. Xavier Legette. This year, Tedero
Hmm.
McMillan, they drafted him.
Yeah.
Jimmy Horn Jr., who kind of expect him to beat out Adam Thielen. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, the defense to me is still a major concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So moving on now to the New Orleans Saints. Now with Kellen Moore, who just comes over from the Eagles. A lot of people know him too from the Cowboys too, on top of it. A good offensive coordinator here. After Dennis Allen now, out at head coach here. Now we get an offensive minded guy with two young quarterbacks here too, even now three. If you look at all the quarterbacks they have in the
Right.
in the thing right there, now that Derek Carr has retired and they're moving on. The question here, biggest question for them is quarterback play. I mean, who's going to be the starter is it Spencer Rattler. We saw a lot of him last year, but again, I don't think it was really, impressing anybody, and I wasn't high on him anyways, in the draft. So I don't expect a lot there. So Tyler Shuck, can he do enough to win the starting job? And where are they going to go with this? This team has some good talent, wide receiver there, Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave. But again, on defensive sides, and Alvin Kamara, you got some of these stars that are just aging, and Kamara, he's going to be able to get moved after this season, probably, maybe after, midway after next season, somehow make a move out of him if this team is just bad, which I think they are. I think they're going to be down at the bottom in this division again, just because unsure quarterback play. You're not sure what's going to go down with this team.
Jim, we got some more note-alls chiming in. We
Sure.
got to get to them.
Yeah, what's up?
Did say that. Did you know that the Falcons are one of two O lines that was in both top 5 in pass and run blocking? They are that good. So it
There you
doesn't
go.
surprise me at all. Joshua Aaron, a new
Mhm.
know-it-all, chiming in on the group. Says on Facebook, Panthers going to the Super Bowl. He's all excited about Carolina. He thinks they're going to make such a big swing in the division. They're going to run the table in the division, and then they're going to make it deep into the playoffs to the Super Bowl. Josh, I just have to ask, how much have you smoked tonight?
Winners don't use drugs.
Not for nothing. I mean, I love the confidence. I really do. I love the confidence. But do not be like the Dallas Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
Rise Up also says, no, they are not. The Panthers aren't even making the playoffs. So, of course, a Falcons fan would debunk that.
Yes. But again, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do.
Right.
We'll see what happens. Dan Canales gets another year here too with everything. So these young coaches, they got to put their stamp on their team and get this going, see what they can do here. So, oh, geez, here we go. Now we're going.
Nathan Christopher takes exception to that. Says, "Hey, you take the Cowboys comment back. I will when we realize that we're speaking really craziness out here."
He starts the comment and he pulls out.
Take back that Panthers comment, and I'll take back mine. How about that? We'll meet in the middle.
Oh man, that's good. That's good stuff.
I love it.
So, yeah, I mean, that's for me. Your new head coach with this team, the Saints. There's a lot of questions, but for me, it's got to be quarterback play because that's going to drive how this team goes. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen with some of these aging guys again, too. Right. I want out. I want to do this. I want to do that or whatever. And some of these guys, they can kind of get rid of, or I think, or even trade away if they could. I know running backs being as old as Kamara is, it's harder sometimes too, in his 30s, but again, his contract suits nicely though too. So I think that, he could find a spot on a team too. If it goes bad and trade deadline comes up, that the Saints will say, hey, we're sellers. Let's see what we can do here and maybe get some other younger talent here.
I think you might actually see that because we all know that the Saints every year are above the cap. They need to shed the money and get back underneath the cap. So that actually might be more of a reality. But like for my biggest question, I mean, honestly, it has to go to quarterback because you look at this team, like offensive line, they've kept, you know, they've kept going on in incentivizing and making this offensive line much better every single year. They've drafted, the likes of Eric McCoy. They've drafted everybody on this offensive line to this point that now they finish off with Kelvin Banks Jr., who's going to hold down that left tackle spot, moving Talise Fuaga back to right tackle. And this offensive line is super solid. Like this offensive line could be arguably one of the best offensive lines, you know, especially when they're all healthy and playing. So I have no concerns with that. No concerns with their weapons, their defense. I'm pretty comfortable with that even. And it has to be focused on quarterback. Like Tyler Shook, it sounds like it's between Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shook for competing for the starting job. Jacob Hayner, I don't even think is in the remote conversation. But
Mhm.
Tyler Shook, being a rookie coming in, they drafted him to start right away. We all know that usually this is not recipe for success for rookie quarterbacks to be thrusted into the wolves' den and try to figure a way out. Um, Tyler Shook, I will say this: injured in college often. But however, has good stature, his physical presence, a taller type of quarterback, a guy who can sling it, has a cannon, can make all the throws, is accurate if you give him time. But if where he might struggle is because this is a whole different level of football, he might get fooled, with defense, what he's seeing on defense out on the football field at times. He might make some poor decisions that he's going to have to learn from. So I feel like it's going to be an up and down season for the Saints offensively. And Tyler Shook, again, he's going to have to stay healthy because if he doesn't, it's going to completely derail the season. So that is obviously the biggest question. We got
Absolutely,
some
Joe.
more.
Here we
We
go. We
got
got
some
some
more
more. We got a
comments in
lot
the
of
chat.
comments out there. We'll get you to you guys right here.
That's right.
Let's read them right off here. The map here that we got. It's on up here. So
Nathan,
Nathan, he goes, I'll continue to say it until I'm blue in the face. Cowboys won't be relevant until their owner Jerry Jones steps away and pay Micah. Yeah, absolutely. You got to pay Micah. You know, what I mean,
they're going to pay him.
I agree with that too. You
They're
got
going
it.
to
You're
pay
going
him. They're not going to let
to.
him go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Mike Tackett.
Mike Tackett, he's got a comment too. He's got a question like he always does. Some good ones too. He always brings the thunder on that one.
Yep.
Is Pittsburgh legitimately a Super Bowl contender? At this point, I think they will finish second in the North. But if everybody plays the way they should and stay healthy, they should definitely make a run in the postseason.
I would say, in my opinion, I don't think they are Super Bowl bound. I really don't. Playoffs possibly because, like you said, Mike, with the given roster that they have, and if everybody stays healthy, that's what everybody would like to see in Pittsburgh. I just don't think that they have enough around Rodgers. Like they got DK Metcalf, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they have a complete team like in terms of skill set. Like I don't even like their defense, to be honest. Their defense is always good statistically, but they just traded for Jalen Ramsey and they have Joey Porter Jr. on the other side. I'm sorry, but if you're going to play zone against my faster, younger receivers, I think those guys are going to get schooled. And I think that it's going to play into the later part of the season where maybe they don't make the playoffs because they can't match up well. So, I do think that they definitely have a really good defense. There's no denying that. But I think Aaron Rodgers in this offense, I don't know how well he's going to get along with Arthur Smith. I mean, with some of his play calling, and that could lead to a lot of friction on the sideline and whatnot. So I definitely agree with you in a sense, Mike, where I do believe that they could be playoff caliber team, but this is such a tough division that they're going to have to fight out of amongst whatever other challenges that they might be encountering. And then even if they make the playoffs, I think it's going to be one of these things where it'll be a great story. Aaron Rodgers, the old goat, like coming back, making it, and all that. But I don't think they're Super Bowl bound.
Yeah, I mean, again, I like some of the moves that they've made, but and like
Right.
you said, I mean, I'm a big supporter of Aaron Rodgers too, because again, I think
Yeah.
he's still one of the best quarterbacks to ever play. Again, despite only having one Super Bowl win,
Right.
but a lot of that didn't fall on his play. We put a lot of weight into Super Bowl victories or playoff victories,
True.
stuff like that on the quarterbacks and everything, but when he's on the sidelines and the defense isn't, stopping anybody or whatnot, or turnovers on that one playoff game, I think they had just a couple years ago. Special teams just killed the Packers. I mean, and when he was playing with the Packers here, and Mike Tackett can attest to that and stuff. So that it has nothing to do with the quarterback there. You know what I mean? So, but adding him to the Steelers, it definitely gives them, I think, momentum and a
Definitely.
chance.
Yeah.
In a tough division, though. This is, I think, a tough division if you take, obviously Cleveland out. But I think between them with the Bengals and the Ravens, I don't see Pittsburgh, being second in a division. I say at best they're going to be third, and they do, maybe make a wild card spot here. It will be interesting to see how far they really go. They need to make it out of the first round, which we've talked about Mike Tomlin's record, getting out of there, and it's not very good. So we're hoping that fact that here with the addition of Aaron Rodgers, that can help, and a good defense is a good start for it. So I think they can make it further in the playoffs. Super Bowl, I think, is a little bit out of reach. But it's wishful thinking, and I get that. I would appreciate if they did too. I don't mind the Steelers. So if they do win, I'm rooting for them. That's good. But yeah, I think that's a little overreach on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Rise Up says Cowboys fans are delusional. I'll take that back whenever they make the Super Bowl. I won't have to take it back for like 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and depending how old, Rise Up is, so he he might not even see it for his lifetime. Who knows? I'm not sure, so. All right.
Rise Up
So,
also would like to
good
know
stuff.
who has a stronger arm, Penix or Shook. Um, I would love to give you a definitive answer, but
Mhm.
they both have strong arms. And who has the strongest arm? We'd have to clock it. Like we'd have to see how far each guy could throw, like maximum. But they both have extremely strong arms. So like, if you want to if I was to guess, I initially would say Shook because I've seen this guy launch it from, one of the other ends of the fields and he's throwing 70 plus yards. So I know Penix has a strong arm too, so maybe they're both in the same area, but I would just kind of give it to Shook just because I've seen him in college make some pretty darn deep throws.
Absolutely. What else we got here? We got a bunch. We appreciate you
Mr.
guys out
Mike Tackett is chiming in
there.
again.
Yes.
He says, I can see New Orleans picking up Cleveland quarterback that gets cut after the trim to 53. It's funny you mentioned that, Mike, because
Mhm.
last night we got a little bit of news about how it's being reported at Cleveland that even though they got four quarterbacks that they like, that there's a possibility that they might try to trade one of them. Now, whether that be Pickett when he gets healthy or one of the rookie guys or Flacco himself remains to be seen. But I think that might be the direction where they want to just grab a quick late, draft pick, a seventh rounder, and just kind of move on that way. But we'll see. Maybe New Orleans will be one of those teams that trade for one of those guys too.
Mhm.
So
And
it
I
could
tell
be
you what,
interesting.
you talk about Kenny Pickett. I think that would be the choice if it ends up being the guy that's who they're looking to even to
Yeah.
trade. Which you both and I we talked about, which probably would be
Yep.
because again, you want to continue with Flacco here with Cleveland, or
Mhm.
at least having to be that veteran that could kind of help
Oh yeah.
train some of these younger
Yeah.
guys. Pickett still again has maybe a little bit of buzz around him, still not know what's going to go on with him with somebody, and New Orleans, it's a dome team, right? We talked about his small hands, not a lot of weather. If he can play in the domes, I think that works good for him, especially even in that division, the NFC South. You play in warm weather. You've got the Panthers, you've got, the Falcons, another dome, and you've also got the Buccaneers. So absolutely. So the area for that division works out for him to have success as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we also said on our on who we thought were going to be like these bigger name cuts, that segment that we had a few episodes ago, I picked Kenny Pickett as being that cut, even though they just traded for him. They literally just traded for the guy because they needed to add to that quarterback room. And now seeing where they stand now, it's like I could see Kenny Pickett still being the odd man out, and maybe they trade and get their pick back. So it'd be kind of funny if that's how it worked out, but nonetheless. Jonathan Santos says Rodgers and Jones going to prove both New York systems are both the problem, which is interesting because it could happen. Could happen.
It could be. It could be.
And lastly, Rise Up real quick, Jim.
Sure.
Says James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker or Nick Scorton and whoever is the other pass rusher. That's all he said.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you're asking or what you're trying to tell us.
Not sure, but yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Are you asking? Hold on. Are you Rise Up? Are you asking us who we favor better? Like, do we favor Pierce and Walker or Nick Scorton and Prince Umi, whatever the frig his name is right now, Ellen? Is that was that what you're asking? Like, which pairing we would choose? I mean, that's not even a debate.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Pierce, it's Pierce and Walker all day long
right.
in my book. Not even close, not even debatable. Anybody that says otherwise, you can go to hell.
You can just go to hell.
Go to hell.
No. All right, so we're doing NFC South, right? And we're on the Buccaneers finally. Joe, why don't you do this one? Let's start off with this one.
We're on the Buccaneers. My biggest question is if Tristan Wirfs, the left tackle, misses significant time because he's still battling and trying to get healthy, trying to get back. He's still not able to practice. And it sounds like out of Tampa that they're a little concerned with his injury. So if he is to miss any kind of extended time bleeding into this season, then your next left tackle that right now on the depth chart is Charlie Heck, who is a free agent from the 49ers and a guy who hasn't been proven, a guy that has never had starting snaps. Yuck. Like, I don't know what you would do in that scenario. You would obviously might have to pull off a Minnesota Viking move like they did last year, where they traded for a veteran that might be on his last year deal with the team, and you could get him in for like kind of like a 1-year rental, so to speak. But man, that to me is like the biggest concerning thing about the Buccaneers. I love what they did offensively. In the draft, they added another weapon because Chris Godwin, not the healthiest guy. We all know that. Their offensive usually is pretty solid, but with this concern about Wirfs, it definitely throws a wrench into plans. And then defensively, they're run by one of the smartest defensive minds in football, and I don't have a question as long as they stay healthy.
Yeah. And I might even put that in part of it, but for me, again, this team has been so good despite injuries, even though, again, now we're looking at Wirfs being injured again. Chris Godwin's injured again. We continually see this over and over again, but despite all that, this team still succeeds. But recently too, also in the playoffs since winning, the Super Bowl, they've made it to the division twice, but still early exits in the wild card and into some of these other teams. Like, one was the Cowboys in 2022 and 2024, the Commanders are resurging here, with Jaden Daniels here of the Washington Commanders. So this season, for me, the question is, hey, can Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers kind of make a deep run into the playoffs here? They continually have had success to get there, but the last time they won was with Tom Brady. Right. And with how well they're playing, how long is this ship going to keep going and not have success? Because when they don't keep having, further success in the playoffs, I think then perhaps the eyes will be turned on Todd Bowles again.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's been a debatable topic with Bowles. Everywhere he's been fired. It's not like he's ever lasted long term, and maybe he chooses to go in a different direction at the end of his contract year. Um, he's just been canned, and not because he can't turn the defense around. We all know he's a great defensive mind, but he's just not a great head coach. He's not. And I think he's gotten away with some things in Tampa, having the luxury of having a really good quarterback in Baker Mayfield, the weapons on offense, the offensive line, all that good stuff. And defensively, constantly adding to that defensive side of the ball and him able to coaching it up to play, at a high level. But this defense has also struggled at times due to injury, due to the loss of talent. So um, this is going to be one of those seasons where he really has to prove himself. I feel like with the team he has now, he has to make the playoffs, hands down, has to. If he misses the playoffs, I think he loses his job. And if you make the playoffs, you better not be like the Dallas Cowboys and be one in and one out. So a lot this season, I think, is hinged on him keeping his job. Now, the team is already built. It's ready to win. And it's just going to be up to his coaching and his football decisions on the sideline that it might sway it one way or the other. So you're right. I think this might be one of those kind of hot seat type of questions as we get down to the end of the year, whether this guy kind of stays as a head coach or not.
And again, recently having a contract extension, but we've seen how many times have we seen that happen to where, hey, we're going to extend this contract, and now all of a sudden, again, you're not getting anywhere, and there, this guy's out. You know what I mean?
Right.
People are still talking about Stefanski possibly being on the hot seat this year too, as well. So I mean, that'll be interesting to watch when the season kicks off. Excuse me. Here, Rise Up's out there. He's got some more questions out there. He goes, a few different things. It says Bucks suck, which I don't.
That's how he started off.
Yes. Imagine getting swept by the Falcons. Oh man. Okay, but again, regular season doesn't matter. If you're in the playoffs, there you go. That's a whole different story. You know what I mean? James and Jalen gonna feast in week 1. My question for them is if they can get lucky for the third time with the OC.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, when your staff starts to get notarized and these and other teams that could utilize a coach of that magnitude start seeing, hey, this kid over here who's calling the plays, like we might have to snag him after this season. Like there's always teams looking to upgrade, whether it be the coaching staff or the players on the football field. And, Atlanta seems to be one of those hot spots where teams keep gravitating to. So, Mr. Robinson, I wonder about him. Is he gonna be looking for a head coaching gig after this year? Especially if the Falcons do well, like Rise Up is, and I get it. I love the confidence. He's expecting them to make that run, but even if they just make the playoffs alone, and with Michael Penix as their rookie quarterback, basically he's still a rookie. He didn't start all year last year, only played a few games. And they play at such a high level that maybe they win the division, or at least they make the playoffs. Maybe it's a wild card berth, whatever. There's going to be teams snooping around for a new head coach next year, and his name might be popping up.
Yeah, and he also Rise Up brings up a good point too of the fact that new offense coordinator and Josh Grizzard here for the Bucks, because Liam Cohen now he goes and gets his job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So is that offense going to be a little different? Are we going to see differences here under the new OC? You would expect that it would be pretty much the same, or at least close with the talent that they have too. I mean, you pretty much guaranteed success, you would think. But potentially, do we see a downtick in Baker Mayfield's production or whatever? He's been on fire lately too. So I'm just thinking that he can still perform at a high level and they're still going to do their thing. Like you've brought up Bucky Irving too in the backfield too. I really like what they're doing. And yeah, I just want to see more. I want to see more out of that. I want to see if they can take it further and see how deep they can go here. So all right, so there you go. We've covered the well, there you go. We've covered the AFC South and the NFC South. We got through all the divisions. So we're going to be getting into the next couple of weeks. We're looking at training camps. We're going to be kind of doing some breakdowns of the divisions and kind of just doing our picks, our early picks for the division winners and the placing and how the teams are going to finish. We'll see what happens. It always ends up being different after the season's all over, right, Joe? Because you never know what the hell goes down. You've got injuries and everything else that goes down in the league. But it's a lot of fun. So you guys got to definitely join us in the next couple of weeks when we start doing some of that stuff. We'll get into some more of our segments that we do too. For you new guys out there, rise up. We do a bunch of different fun segments. Our guy, Mike Tackett, can tell you about some of that stuff like that. So during the season, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to bring out maybe my milk carton player of the week too and everything too. So we're going to throw out all the stops. So I'm excited for this upcoming season, looking to see some of these young quarterbacks and what they're going to do, new head coaches and stuff. So we're excited. Tomorrow there's going to be a game. So all eyes on that. I'm looking to see how this is going to go. And, we're excited, Joe. Why don't you tell these guys that are new, haven't subscribed yet?
Really do appreciate everybody out there. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for the comments and the questions and the opinions. It's very much, one of the things that makes doing the show fun is getting some feedback from you guys, and it's all about interaction for the show. Like we love to hear from you guys on different topics or whatnot, or even if there's something that you want to hear us talk about. If you love the content, do us a huge favor. Head over to YouTube for us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up while you're there. It helps. It really does help us get noticed by others. And don't forget to share it with all your family and friends. We love you guys. Thank you guys for so much for tuning in. Let's go, Know It All Nation.
Nice. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.